head beanie. Earlier today we went to Lighthouse Park, which is in West Vancouver, which is basically right across the water from where I am right now. Well, kind of. You can see the lighthouse flickering or flashing. Let's see if I can show y'all. It's right there. That's where we were earlier today. And it was absolutely beautiful. Rain clouds, gray skies, you could see blue skies, and the water was kind of choppy. Yeah, it was really beautiful over there. I was very happy that we got to go there today. I'm now at, this is like Spanish Banks, and if you continue further down, then you go to Tower Beach and then end up at Wreck Beach, which is UBC kind of area. There's more fresh snow on the mountains. That's the North Shore. Those are the North Shore Mountains. If you tag North Shore on Instagram, you'll get those mountains, or you'll get Hawaii. And then there's a few others, but from what I've seen, it's mostly the North Shore of Hawaii and then North Shore, British Columbia, Lower Mainland. That's where Cypress is. That there is where Cypress is. That there, yeah, right there, that is where Grouse is, and then those lights over there, that is Seymour. Let's try and zoom in more. Okay, so what are we doing here? Grouse is there, Seymour is there, and Cypress is there. That's the best I could do it. Maybe not the best I could do it, but for now, I think that was alright. It's middle of March. We just got fresh snow, which is a good sign. We can snowboard a bit longer. We can ski a bit longer here. But it's also mild enough that we can come down to the beach. I mean, whoa, I'm zoomed in. There we go. It's mild enough to come down to the beach. It's mild enough to go kayaking. It's mild enough to go for a walk with your dog on the beach. This is beautiful. It's such a photogenic landscape that we have, and I absolutely love it. But I guess if you're doing photography, any landscape is photogenic. It's just how you decide to interpret that landscape. And one thing that I love studying, and one thing that I don't know enough about, is photography. And then that translates into film and shooting things and doing those kind of things. Yeah. And my first camera that was given to me was a 110 camera, and 110 film was a cartridge, and it was like 2 cylinders with a bridge across, and the film went from one cylinder to the next when you advanced the film. And they made a square, like 100 millimeter by 100 millimeter prints, and that was my first camera that I used. And I still have the pictures from that first camera. Most of them are really crappy. There's a few kind of interesting ones. And there's one that I was always told it looks like the moon, and I never saw it. I never quite understood why it looked like the moon. And it was more abstract than I could understand when people were saying that. And I only really saw the moon in that picture until a few years ago. I never saw it, I mean. And yeah, it's an interesting picture. It's by no means a great picture to myself. I'm sure to other people it is. So So I went from that 110 camera, and I think I took it apart because I wanted to take it apart to see how it works and all this kind of stuff, and I never got it back together again. And I do that a lot. Even nowadays, even today, I take things apart and I can't get them put back together, and then I just live with it, and I'll go buy something new that replaces that. And I've done that quite a few times with quite a few different things. The next camera that I owned was a Yashica. What was it? A Yashica? FX3. And I think it was the FX3 2000 because it had a 2000th shutter speed, 1/2000th of a second shutter speed. Before that, it went up to 1/1000th of a second. Now, if you want to stop motion, someone walking or something like that, you want to be shooting at least 1/250th of a second. But then there's tons of different factors that come into play when you're doing that. But that's kind of a rough guideline. So if you want to stop skateboarders and snowboarders and skiers and objects going faster than normal, faster than someone walking, you want to be up at about 1/1000th of a second or 1/2000th of a second. And that's why that's why the Yashica was called the 2000 or whatever. And that camera got stolen. My mom was going to school at UBC. I was taking photography in high school, and it got stolen out of her car. Yeah, it had, what did it have? It had like I think it was a 50mm lens, and I think I had a zoom lens with it. I was devastated. My mom was pissed because the car was stolen out of her car at UBC when she was coming here. And the camera after that, wait a second. Yeah, the camera after that was a Nikon F601. And the F601 was not the camera I wanted, but it was a camera that my mom could afford. And I think I helped pay for some of it. There's Bambi. And it was an alright camera. It was decent. The lens was slow. Couldn't take a picture of anything because we had only 100 ISO film and 400 ISO film. But it was still a lot of fun to use. And then eventually I saved money and I bought a couple different lenses, fisheye attachments, which are awful. Never buy a fisheye attachment. And from there, when we bought that camera, what I wanted was F90X. Now that camera was like a sports photographer's dream camera to me. That's how I felt about it. I had the brochure for years, literally probably like 7 or 8 years. And then I finally got one of those only a few years ago. But I used that F601 for a very long time. I would say I used that camera probably about 7 years. About 7 years. And I learned quite a bit, but I shot all on film. I shot Velvia 50, Velvia I think 100, Kodak film, lots and lots of Fuji film. A lot of my pictures, I would say most of my pictures, were really crappy. Maybe 1 out of 10 pictures was something that I was happy with. And then from there I moved on to DSLRs and all that kind of stuff. But I've been using cameras for a very long time. I love photography. I love figuring things out, figuring out exposures, figuring out how I'm going to take a picture, what lens is going to work, and learning new lenses. So anyways, that's just a little bit about photography. So I'm going to take a few pictures, I'm going to edit a few pictures, and then I'm going to put it with this video to kind of show like the photos that I take. I think they're alright usually. One of the books I bought was called Sacred Geometry. It's another book in that series of books that I bought. And this one, is there a secret visual language all around us? What's so special about the shape of the Great Pyramid? Why is there something so sexy about circles? How many ways can you tile the plane? So this talks about different geometry. I love geometry. It was one of my favorite subjects in school. still is one of my favorite subjects. But here, halves and thirds, defining by triangles and squares, and then we have the squared circle, or the circled square, and then the triangle and circle, triangulum, quadratum, all sorts of different shapes. I actually never heard those terms before. And then one of my favorite types of architecture is Gothic architecture. They have peaked arches like that. And this book, I guess, is going to get into that. I don't know anything that is in this book, or I don't know what is in that book. I've heard of some of those things, and I've studied a few of them, but other than that, I'm not very familiar with the subject matter. I like to think that I'm always learning, that I can always learn new things, and yeah, this is just one subject that I'm very interested in. And this book is maybe controversial. I don't know anything about this book. It's by a guy named Aleister Crowley, and this book is called The Book of the Law. I don't know what this book is about at all. I've never opened it. I've never researched it. I don't know. I don't know a lot about his teachings or his books or whatever it is. I don't know that kind of stuff. But I thought it would be interesting, because I don't know these things, to learn about these things so that I can have an opinion about these things. Otherwise, Aleister Crowley is just some dude who may be a devil worshiper, who may be something else. But without reading what he's written, or reading about him, or anything like that, I won't be learning anything about who he is and what makes him so controversial. So that's why I got that book, because I'm quite interested and fascinated in those kind of things. So anyways, check out Bambi. He hurt his dew claw, so he's licking it. Is on his left arm. The dew claw broke, and it should be fine tomorrow. Maybe the day after tomorrow, but I'm sure it'll be fine tomorrow. Anyways, he's hilarious, absolutely adorable, and yeah, I guess that's about it. It was just Lighthouse Park, Jekyll Beach. Oh yeah, and those pictures that I took that I'm going to post up, I should edit a few of those before I put this video together, just to kind of show you what kind of photography I do and what I could do with those images. I don't know. I'm shooting on a 5D2, so low light imaging sucks. So maybe I'll be converting it to black and white to get rid of a lot of the noise in the image. We'll see what we do, or what I do with it. Okay, I'm gonna try and get back to sleep. I need to clean up my room anyways a little bit, and maybe that'll expend some energy. I don't think it will, but anyways, I'm gonna stay off my iPad. I'm gonna stay off my phone. I'm gonna get on the computer. I'm gonna edit a couple pictures and then put them together, or put this video together, upload it, and then try to get to sleep. Maybe by 5 I'll be asleep. What time is it right now? It is 5:20. Holy crap. Holy crow, it's so late. Maybe by 6. Dang, that sucks. Okay, anyways, sweet dreams, love life, and I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.